This week's episode of the podcast is being brought to you by Global Gift Registry. For more information, visit globalgiftregistry.org. Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti. Hey, 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 great girlfriends. Hey, hey, hey. Listen, we are 1 week away from the finale of our election season. Have you voted? Have you voted, great girlfriend? If you haven't, I want to encourage you to get out. It takes a second and it makes a world of difference for you to cast your ballot for our next President of the United States of America. Your vote is needed, your voice is needed, and that's all I got to say about that. Make sure you go out and vote, and then don't go by yourself. Tag a great girlfriend. Get her involved in the voting process as well. Okay. So about this week's episode, I'm introducing to you Jackie Nickelberry and Iesha Reed, who are the founders of Global Gift Registry. Now, I don't want to give it all away, but I do want to ask you, what happens when two great girlfriends, well, actually three, come together in the name of a brilliant idea to inspire and impact the world? What can take place? Well, after listening to this episode, you'll have the keys, the wisdom, the insight, and the ignition that you need to go out and spring into your own idea and burst something new in the world and really help to create the change that you're looking for. So do grab your pen and paper and be prepared to be inspired by these two women today. Lastly, I'd love to have you join us for our 2020 Ready, Set, Go workshop, November 9th, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be held on Zoom. This is for every single woman who wants to kickstart that big idea, get unstuck, and set a plan, a course of action to help mobilize and deploy your dream. So if that's you, register today immediately at bit.ly/ReadySet2020. That's bit.ly/ReadySet2020. The workshop is incredibly inexpensive so that every single great girlfriend, including yourself, can be a part of the experience. So I cannot wait to help you declutter, restructure, reorganize your plan, set a course of action, and put your dreams into motion. All right, I don't want to hold you. I want you to dive deep into this episode. Do enjoy the founders of Global Gift Registry, and do send us your iTunes review, and make sure you hit us back over email if you've got a great idea for a podcast at welcome@thegreatgirlfriends.com. Enjoy. Great girlfriends, you are in for a treat as usual. I am bringing two really incredibly phenomenal women and sisters and great girlfriends to the show today to talk to you about a business venture that they've embarked upon, and also how they've decided to move deeper inside of the corridors of their friendship to find out what else is there, like what else can we pull out of this, what other collaborations can come true when you really do dive into your great girlfriendship. So I am super excited and honored to bring to you Miss Jackie Nickelberry and Miss Iesha Reed. Hey, great girlfriends.
Hi, Sybil.
Hey.
Hi, Sybil. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Let me tell you, first of all, great girlfriends, what you don't know is the pre-conversation, like the combo we had is three daughters who have all have fathers who've transitioned. And I've shared with you all about that on the show with my dad, but now Jackie and Iesha just really deposited even more gems into me on our pre-call. So I want to thank you so much for what you deposited, Jackie and Iesha. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Well, you deposited it back. You already had me grab some tissue already, which is always a good girlfriend conversation when you get a few good cleansing couple tears out.
Isn't that what it's all about? Like it's always nothing and everything at once, right? It can go nowhere or it can go everywhere. And that's what incredible relationships can do. And for you two, I mean, this has been a long friendship, a sisterhood. I feel like this evolution has brought forth something magnificent for the world to see. I would love if you could just tell our listeners who you are, and we can start, Iesha, with you and then go into Jackie and what you all do. And we'll dive into the story of your friendship first, and then we'll move from there.
Okay, well, great. Well, again, Sybil, thank you so much for having us, and, amazing what you're doing. And I'm so proud of you. I have to say that I've known Sybil since I was 19 years old, guys.
Yes.
So this is also too. It's another great girlfriend friendship within this group here.
Right.
But I've traditionally, been a PR and marketing brand expert, primarily working in the luxury space for about 20 years now.
Wow.
And working in New York City in fashion, and have always tried to figure out a way that I could try to do something that was bigger than myself, and try to find different ways to give back to either my community or, through mentorship or different things. And, Jackie, who is a friend of mine that I met, a couple of years back, and she has always been a great, I guess, example of that, because she spends a lot of her time, giving back and, donating her time and really working on boards to really, push different arts and education projects through. And so she was someone who, I've always admired for her work in that area, but also a person that's been, a shoulder for me, during different times in my life. So such a great girlfriend to me. But this is something that we were able to sort of get together on and sort of figure out together how we can, make a difference and bring a lot of other women along with us. And so I will, Jackie is the one that always has to be able to tell the story in the great way. So I'm going to push it over to Jackie so she can give a little background of her.
Well, thank you. First of all, Sybil, thank you again for having us on. I have done a little bit of research and listened to several of these podcasts. You are amazing at this. And
thank you.
I really, there's just some gems that you've recorded that everyone should listen to. And I've actually listened to them as I was like on quarantine walks to just try to understand. It was great. I was like, oh, that's good. That's good.
I love it.
See how people, you're like walking past, people are like, is she talking to herself? And I was like, yes, I agree with that.
You're like, yes, I am. And I'm proud of it.
I am. Yes. And I think what was great that was happening on this pre-call that, Sybil, you and I met 2 years ago at a girlfriend's gathering in New York, which we used to do all the time pre-COVID, that Shireen from OWN, who is an amazing girlfriend.
Super girlfriend. Yes.
Like, she's just like a candle lighter. Seriously. Yeah. She's one of those people that she sees your candle, she lights it. And that for me is powerful. If you can light other people's candles, that's where power comes in. And so we sat at the same table, and I had just lost my dad to cancer. And apparently I said something that touched you that was, you then thought about now. And then, Iesha and I can't even remember where Iesha and I met. I mean, we were kind of two girls running around New York City, and we connected, and we have, she's, life, like, and what I tell young people is that a life well lived has ups and downs. And so good girlfriends are those that are there on both of those sides. And so Iesha and I have shared, she was one of the first people to reach out when my dad got sick. Was like, what can I do? Can we meet? Can we whatever? And so, and consistently checked up during the time, which was also wonderful because I was unable to respond to people. And, she wasn't one of those. When we finally got together after my dad died, she was like, I didn't take offense to it. I remember you said that, Iesha, we were at drinks. She was like, no, I wasn't offended when you didn't respond and didn't want to get together. She was like, I just wanted you to know that I was there if you did. And that's something I think women need to take away, right? It gets so personal sometimes, particularly in this moment. But sometimes just checking in, you just don't know. But why we're here is I think it's the ultimate girlfriend check-in. So I know you want to talk about the Global Gift Registry and how it began.
Yes.
Early in March is what Iesha and I, the project that we work on, we talk morning, noon, and night about, I feel like. Early in March, I was out on a run in Miami. My husband and I live between New York and Miami. And so late March 26th, I was out for a run. Lockdown had already started. If you think back to March, we're in September 2020 now, but back in March, we were really afraid as a country. We didn't know exactly what we were dealing with.
Right.
We didn't know how it was transmitted. We weren't wearing masks yet. Although we should have been, but we weren't wearing masks yet. We didn't know. We were just very afraid. The country had shut down probably 10 days prior to that. I had been listening to, maybe it hadn't quite shut down yet. I had been listening to, although we were in Miami at that point, I was very much tuned into the New York news. And what was striking to me was that New York City schools were saying, we really want to shut down, but we can't because we have 110,000 homeless students in our system.
Yes.
110,000.
Devastating.
That's a huge number for the richest, one of the richest cities in the world. And so I sit on the board of a school in New York, and I was like, are there any of our kids that are homeless? And then I was like, why wasn't this a pandemic 6 months or a year ago? How can this be a fact and something we're not doing? So all of this is swirling through my head. And I'm an avid runner. I work out. And part of the reasons why I work out is that it allows me to gather my thoughts. It's my time with myself. And so I'm thinking about this. And I run past a woman who is lying on a 50 by 50 inch cement block in the hot sun in Miami. She's 8.5 months pregnant. She's obviously dirty. She looks lethargic. And I run past, and, you know, I'm a New Yorker. I'm guilty of running past the homeless. I'm an urban dweller. So, unfortunately and sadly, the homeless population becomes invisible to us.
True.
You know, we see them, we hand $1, we hand it $5, we might hand food from takeout, or leftovers. And, you know, we go along our day, but there was something about that moment of everything that was going on. So I come back to her and I run back and I say, are you okay? And she says, no. I said, would you like some help? She says, yes. And I said, would you like to be in a shelter? And she says, yes, but they're all full. Now I want to set the scene. This is a cement block that's on the water on the bay in Miami. And so at this point, gyms were closed. Everything was shut down. So people were working out around her. There was a woman that was sunbathing not far from her. Folks were walking their dogs. They were out eating their lunch, enjoying the sun, enjoying the day, the good weather. You know, and here was this woman that was lying here in pain. And so my husband and I spent the next 2 days taking care of her, bringing her food, supplies, a blanket. And I spent 2 days trying to get her placed in a shelter. And finally, I did get her placed. And I thought to myself, well, what can I do? What can I do to help her? So initially my idea was, can I throw her a baby shower? Can I get my friends together and throw her a baby shower and get her everything she needs? And because of HIPAA and federal regulations, you know, I couldn't have contact with her once she was in a shelter. So I came with this idea to throw the shelter a baby shower. And so I called and texted, you know, over 100 of my friends from around the world, Iesha being one of them. Because I had documented the story on social media, not for the media attention, but really to get her placed in the shelter. I was having trouble in those. Iesha and I have since learned that 48 hours is actually a short amount of time to get someone placed. But for me, it was painfully long. I could see her going to sleep every night from our balcony. And under normal times, I would have checked her in a hotel, but all the hotels were closed at that point. And so there was this pregnant woman that I literally could not help. And we were in a global pandemic. And so every morning and every minute felt excruciatingly long. So, you know, I had documented on social media. So my friends were invested in the story. So when I sent them the message out, you know, would you help? They immediately said yes. So we put together a hostesses list of girlfriends, 115 women from around the globe, from Amsterdam to California to the middle of the country to the East Coast, obviously New York and Miami, Chicago, where I'm from. And I asked them, would they list their name on a flyer in the same way you would if you were going to throw a baby shower for me? Would they buy a gift and help spread the word? They said yes. And in 12 days, we raised $36,000 in supplies for the shelter in Miami. The Miami Herald. Yeah, it was really beautiful. Everything amazing. From food that was distributed directly to the community of Overtown, which is a historically Black community here in Miami, Florida. It's actually, you know, we were talking about Versus last night. It's where Sammy Davis Jr. and stars stayed when they were performing on Miami Beach, and they couldn't stay on Miami Beach. Overtown was where Black people stayed. Yeah. So, you know, we collected food that was immediately distributed to a community that was hurting and hungry in the moment. Hundreds of strollers that were given to moms to make it easier for them to grocery shop and get around town because they didn't have the privilege of their groceries being delivered. Yeah. Onesies and socks and bedding and towels, gift cards that helped with transitioning into their own homes, and just food and necessities. So then I said to my girlfriends, I said, you know, we had we had such quick success. I was like, do you think we can do this again? And everyone said yes. And so we went to New York and we found a organization that helps women who are survivors of gender abuse. And they have 4 shelters in New York City. And we started working with them. We created the same concept and we raised $52,000 for them in about a month.
My God, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to watch it unfold. And so since then we've launched in Chicago and we are currently in Atlanta. And later this week, we will launch in California, our 5th Global Gift Registry. Because your girlfriend, Sybil, I'm going to tell you this, Iesha's probably going to kill me for telling you because she doesn't want me to say it publicly yet. But as of last week, we've raised $150,000 for women and children and families in this country. And so, like, what does that mean? Like, that's a big number and we're super proud of it. But what it means is that there's over 20,000 diapers and wipes that are right now in urban communities. You know, we've learned a lot about poverty over the last couple of months. And so you know, poverty seems like a very vague word, but that vague word is attached to human beings and their experience in life. And so, you know, I know there are moms on this phone, and if you are a mother of 2 children who are not potty trained, the cost for diapers and wipes could be several $100s a week. That's a lot of money, no matter how much money you make. I mean, it's just a lot of money. So, you know, a lot of times mothers who are low income or are homeless, they use diapers or T-shirts, or they ration diapers. So meaning they leave diapers on longer than they should. So their babies are more susceptible to diaper rash and infections. That's something we can help with. So we've sent thousands of diapers into the community. The same thing with menstrual supplies. My husband says we talk a lot about menstrual supplies in our house. So, but you know, 1 in 6 women don't have access to menstrual supplies.
Is this in the U.S.?
Yes. In the U.S.
My God.
Yes.
1 in 6 women.
Crazy, Sybil.
It's a crazy amount. So yes, so what does that mean? Like, let's break that down, because it's a memorable statistics, but what does that mean? That means that women use, again, T-shirts and towels. It means that they might leave a tampon in longer than maybe they should. So that's toxic shock syndrome. It means that maybe they try to wash out a maxi pad and use it multiple times, again, leading to infections and bacteria. Or for school age children, what that means is that they miss up to a week of school every 5 weeks. So, and more importantly, what it means for a woman and a teenager is that they learn shame about their body. And you and everybody on this phone knows, if you learn shame at 15 years old about something that is natural to you, you are going to carry that shame for the rest of your life. You're going to be a 50-year-old woman trying to figure out why this shame is deep inside of you, and it's going to infiltrate every part of your life. So we have sent probably 20,000 plus tampons and menstrual pads into the community. Strollers, strollers are very expensive. Strollers are anywhere $100 and up. And kids grow out of them. They grow to being babies, to toddlers, to young kids. They still need strollers. And so parents make the decision to just not get new strollers. And so kids are put at risk they're not safe in cars because their parents just can't afford it, because it's a stroller or rent, a stroller or food, a stroller or gas to get to work. And so we've helped alleviate that. And we've done it on the backs of our girlfriends, really. Our girlfriends. On the shoulders. Yeah, our girlfriends, they share the links on social media with their friends, colleagues. They have supported us city to city. We ask them every time, are you with us on the next city? And 80% of them say a resounding yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's grassroots, Sybil. It's such a, it's a grassroots way that we, and everyone can participate, because on these registries, we have, gifts from $1. You can buy $1 box of mac and cheese. So it knocks down the barrier of being able to give back. And so in each small donation counts. I mean, we're talking about, $150,000, which is probably a little bit over that now, but of gifts that go directly to the shelters. So it's not like you give money and then you have to wonder where your money went that you gave. The Target delivers the product directly, within 1 to 2 days, and we see it from the shelters. We see the pictures. We see the gifts being, distributed, so we know that real people are getting gifts in real time. And we've also in Chicago, we've helped, do starter kits or provide starter kits to women who are going from that shelter to their first apartment. We've been able to provide, $500 gift certificates and make sure they have pots and pans and, that first starter kit for when they're moving from the shelter into their apartment. So we're doing real work, in a grassroots way, and everybody can participate. And it's literally a girlfriend network of friends and, people that we don't all know each other, but what we all have in common is that we're girlfriends, right? And we are standing up for people, for women and families, all over, whichever city we're going to hit next. I mean, we plan not to go away. We plan to continue to do this and, plan to continue to hit everywhere we possibly can and try to make a difference, when, things are kind of crazy for everyone right now, but we just want to make sure that we help in any way that we can. And that's what our goal is right now for it.
This is so beautiful it's beautiful on 10 levels, right? Because one, you said something earlier, Jackie, that's so important, and it's to see a person, not just to pass them, not just to know they exist, but to really see them and then to extend your heart and your resources. The thing about it is we have it, right? But what the village mindset says that if I have it, you have it, which means everyone eats. As long as I'm eating, you're eating. And so this is in essence a return to the village. It's really us. Right? It's the village rising up.
We say all the time, I believe we have everything we need to take care of each other.
Yes.
I say that all the time in emails about this and to our hostesses. We just need to be mobilized and organized to do so.
That's right.
Michelle Obama, who is another great podcaster, actually said in her second podcast, I heard her say to Michelle Norris that, when she was growing up, there was this idea that you couldn't have everything, because if you had everything, that means somebody didn't have something.
Yeah.
And so we now live in a society where, people feel like they can want as much of the pie as possible. When if we share the pie, everybody gets better and bigger. We've seen that now, right? In coronavirus, that when you don't take care of the least of us, the whole pie suffers. And so the Global Gift Registry is just that. It's about seeing it, and it's funny that you touch on the point of giving people what they need. The organization that we're helping in LA coming up in the next week, they're a mission that takes homeless women and children off of Skid Row, which is one of the most famous tent cities in the United States. Extremely dangerous. It goes on for blocks and blocks and blocks in downtown Los Angeles. And they have a village where they have moms and children. They give them housing from anywhere from 12 to 3 years. Their goal is, every organization we work with really, their goal is to break the shackles of homelessness, not just to give them temporary housing, but to give them the tools that they need to succeed in life. And so what they said to us recently, which was this hits on what you said, is that, what's wonderful here is that you're asking us what we need. So every registry is customized. We go to the organization, we say, can you go talk to the women and children that you service and ask them, what do they need right now? Is it food? Is it menstrual supplies? Is it strollers? Is it whatever, like whatever it is, what is it that you need? And then let us give you what you need. That's empowering. That's empowering. That's not us imposing. Like that's different from the patriarchal system of which we live in, which is that let's give you what we don't want anymore.
Let's
give us let's give us what we don't need anymore. Our leftovers, right? That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is tell us what you need and let us give you that. Let us get our network together and give you that. And so it is, it's amazing to watch unfold. I mean, I've seen it many times, and I swear, Iesha, every time, like now we're in our fifth, it makes me emotional. Like it does. It makes me emotional every single time I do. So thank you for seeing that, Sybil, really.
No, it's so important. And, giving is one of my life pillars. And so it never grows old, right? I'm sure your hearts are just bursting, because every time you know that you've done something valuable for someone else, it just, I don't know. It regenerates in this abundance in your own life. It just makes you feel so full.
Absolutely. It makes you feel full. And I mean, we're thinking about the thousands of women and the thousands of families that we have impacted, all of us by just the small donations. And, I feel like at the beginning of COVID, it was hard for us to even understand what was going on or even understand how long. But I sat there daily just wondering what I could do to make a difference. Like, what is it that I can do? And I mean, and this provided such a, a fullness in my heart to be able to, spend time to actually do something and to see, the results in real time. It makes me feel good. And I'm just happy that Jackie brought me on with her on this journey and that we're able to continue to make a difference in people's lives, one gift at a time.
Yeah.
And that's, what our goals are.
And Sybil, all of your listeners can participate. So you go to globalgiftregistry.org. It feels very much like a GoFundMe situation, except it's a gift registry. So you go to, it says donate now. It takes you directly to our most recent target registry. You go shopping, you click, you fill your cart, you check out, and those items are sent directly to our partner organization. We actually have no hands in the donation. We never see them. We never touch them. It goes directly to the people in need. They unbox it and it's distributed within days. You actually get an email. You get an email from Target that says it's been delivered to them. You get updates from us regularly with the photos as you see it unfold. And so the call to action to your listeners is to give. If you can buy one gift, and look, if you can buy one gift, and if you can buy 10, buy 10. But if you can only buy one, your gift is just as meaningful because what we've learned from this, and perhaps I knew it before, but I've seen it here, is that our small contributions, they add up to meaningful things.
Yes, they do.
They add up and they say to someone, we see you.
Yeah.
We see you, and we want you to win. We want you to succeed. And so what we've heard from our partner organizations is that you talk about us being filled, but our partner organizations say working in poverty is hard. It is like working with, it just is, it's a segment of the population that people like to talk about, but they don't actually like to get involved with because it makes you see the worst of our community, right? Because you have to confront the fact that we aren't taking care of a part of our population. So that work is hard.
Yeah.
And for our partner organizations, they literally get anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 boxes within the course of several weeks that are delivered multiple times a day. And so even for the people that work there, they are like, it is such an amazing feeling to know that complete strangers care about us and care about the people that we care so deeply about.
Yeah.
And so it just, there's just nothing bad about this. It's rare that you can say something like that.
Right. It's good all the way around.
And working. And the great part about this is like, there's just no egos involved too. Like, I came up with the idea and I called Iesha and I was like, will you help with PR and communications? Like she immediately said, yes. We've got another friend who, Yetta, who is, helps with operations. And we've got my friend in Ohio who helped me build my blog site, built our website, over the course of 3 weeks and updates it. And I want to say this to your listeners about, in young people who listen to you, everything you do in life has a purpose. Like never think that what you're doing is silly and is not building blocks for what you're meant to do later. So as Iesha knows, I have a blog, Jackie Unfiltered, that I built years ago that a lot of people said was like, a lot of people looked at it as it was silly. Like they're like, you're 30-some-year-old woman. Like, why do you want to blog about fashion, food, and fitness? Because it made me happy. I was passionate about it. And what I learned from that blogging, though, was I learned social media. I learned how to build a website. I learned how to manage a website. I learned how to create content. I learned how to create digital assets, as Iesha likes to call them. And so
The corporate world.
I love the language.
In the corporate
Yes.
digital. And so, but the point was when this global gift registry happened and we wanted to move fast and create it quickly, all those things that I learned from the blog became super critical in building this fast.
Yeah.
So we were able to ramp up from 0 to 100 in about 6 weeks with a website, social media, photography, all of those things because I had already done it before. So that's my point. Like everything you do has a purpose and building blocks. And, don't let anybody stop you from following your dreams and your passion. And, so many girlfriends who are mutual friends always encourage the blog. Always. Iesha was a big encourager. She was like, keep going with it. Keep doing
Write
it.
a cookbook.
She wants you to write a cookbook. But it's just a thought, right? I mean, so even your podcasting, this is a building block for something else. And,
and I also think, of course, like every person that you meet, is there for a reason as well, because, I'm so happy that Jackie and I are able to work on this with some other, girlfriends and really just be able to work on something that's meaningful. It just sort of takes that girlfriend network to another level that we're actually able to do something and give back and change lives and also learn new skills. I mean, I'm now creating digital assets on social media right now. So we've also learned, to be able to dig inside ourselves and learn new skills and, really be able to stretch ourselves as girlfriends, as people. And so every person that you meet is there for a reason. I love to say that to the listeners because it's so important that it's all there for a reason.
And also it goes back to the old adage of, our mamas and daddies taught us this, be nice to everybody. Right?
Everyone.
Everybody.
Relationship is everything.
Relationships matter.
So
pour into them.
Don't understand how much you've poured into this, all the virtues, right? So first of all, you're talking about dealing with humanity, what it means to see people, what it means to really value every life, not just the ones that are in your network, but each life. And at certain points, like you said, Jackie and Iesha, you have these intersections where you see people differently. So the woman that you may have passed in New York, now in Miami, where you have this intentional run that you're on, she looks different, right? And what's happening in relationship to what's going on with the world, all of that matters so much. And it brought you to this big moment. But even in that moment, if you didn't have the right girlfriends, you would have felt like this was a big mountain that you would have never been able to climb. But having the right relationships of women that you have like invested in, that you've poured into, that have the same mission as you, who respect and value the same things as you, made it so much easier for you to make these phone calls. And Iesha's jumping in and Yetta's jumping in and girlfriends around the world are jumping in. And you're at this, I mean, the year's not over and you're in the six figures. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's
community led.
And I just want to say something about our girlfriends list, our hostesses list. It is so diverse. So it includes women, white women I went to law school with.
Yeah.
White women, it includes Republicans and Democrats. It has women who live in the middle of the country and women who are expats. There are mothers and aunties, women who have had trouble, getting pregnant and know the virtues of IVF. There is women who have been homeless before, who have experienced homelessness and shelter insecurity. And at a time when we can't agree on anything, when our country is literally divided on science. We are the only country in our world that is fighting over science. There is a group of women who could not be more different, who are standing together and saying, what we do agree on is that women and children should have a safe place to sleep at night. They should have enough food to eat. And, period. That we feel like that about other women. And so I think that the more common ground we find, the better off we are. And so it is, and so we've done that with this. And so even our registry which this is so beautiful, I think you will love this story. In our registry in California was started because a woman reached out to us blindly through our website and sent a message and said, I would like to nominate this shelter. I gave to the Global Gift Registry Chicago because my Yale college roommate is involved. She laid out the registry. We had a phone call. We talked to her. We found out that she is a trauma pediatrician in LA. She volunteers with this mission. She's 6 months pregnant. And what she said to us on the call was, she's like, I would like to donate my baby shower to the Global Gift Registry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't need, she's like, I don't need my girlfriends to buy me gifts, buy my baby and I gifts. She's like, but what would make me feel good is if my girlfriends and my family bought someone else gifts in honor of my baby. This woman could not be more, she's white. She went to Yale. I'm Black. I went to Spelman. She lives in Los Angeles. I live on the other coast. We could not be more different. And here it was that this thing that we built because of this woman that I met on the street has brought us together.
That's right.
And has led her to this moment of generosity. I think that, love wins every time. Every single time it wins. Yeah.
The sooner we become more human to one another, the better, right?
Absolutely.
Then none of the junk matters. What matters is when we're able to protect one another from the harm that others have caused, and we can work hard and diligently the way you are to really add value and remind people that they're valuable. Because it's a leg up. It's a leg up when you give a person an opportunity to feel, to feel decent and honorable, just in clothing and food and access to education, giving girls the right to, these things will change an entire life, a legacy. It's so much bigger than just one meal. It's bigger than an outfit. It really is. It's a on-ramp to a larger life. So this is just incredible. I didn't realize how much you all were doing. Like literally I really thought there was a big brand behind you. I was like, there's got to be like a whole machine back there. Because I'm seeing like the post.
There's 4 of us.
There is a machine. 4 baddies are working.
And there is humanity sparks humanity over and over and over again. Every time you are human to another human being, that person becomes human to someone else. Every single time. Like,
let me ask you this. This is very important. I just thought about this, Jackie, Iesha, because you both have busy and full lives. And a lot of women will say, I had this idea, but, right? I'm too busy. I'm too this. I got this going on. I'm homeschooling now. What do you say to the woman who is sitting on the brink of something transformative like what you all are doing, but challenging herself with time and availability?
So the first thing I would say is, so there's a woman who was involved in our registry. She's one of the most senior women at Google. Her name is Benita Keys. She went to Harvard Business School. She is the most senior African-American woman at Google. And she's writing a book that's coming out this fall, and it's called Team Up. And so what I would say to that woman is find some other women and team up with them.
Yeah.
So a lot. So the very male way of doing business is that I have this idea and it's my idea. I've come up with this. I need to build it myself. I need to hold it. I need to grow it, and because I'm afraid somebody's going to steal it and take it and build it and go with it. And so what I say to that woman is to team up with some other women who you love and you care and you trust, and then build, and then give that bird wings and let it fly. And don't be afraid of like teaming up. Like this has been possible because everyone brings something different to the table. Like Iesha brings community. Like there's no fear of teaming up that you're going to lose something. And so that's what I'd say to the woman, that to take, call a couple of your friends and tell them your idea and build on it, and then do a little bit at a time. So we've raised $150,000, but we've done it in 5 months. And we've done it with hundreds and hundreds of women. So always just take the step, team up with other people, and then take the first step. Take the first step, make the first call, and then make the second call and make the third call. And, if you get busy, put it down and pick it back up. Like we're all like, literally, we will email each other and, it'll say, I'm at yoga, I'm working out. Like, let me call you back in an hour. Yeah, it is. I mean, no, Iesha, is that not true? It's like, let me get back to you.
Yeah, true.
No, we are. Like, it will be, Iesha will be, I'm homeschooling the teen. Let me call you back. And we'll be looking at press releases at 11:30 at night. And it will be, and then in that teaming up, use your network. Like, call your people. Like, don't be afraid to call. People want to be in service. And so That's what I would say. Team up with people and then just do a little bit at a time. Do a little bit, like, don't look at the whole pie. Don't look at the whole pie. Just take the first step.
Yeah, because
we often
put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, or we put so much pressure on ourselves to get everything done, at one time. And, I think it's what's good about what's happening right now in the world is we're all slowing down and we're able to really think things through and realize that we don't have to do things, just right away. And we're able to really rely on our network of friends and rely on our network of family to really help us, get through. And I think that, that's what this time is providing for us. We have to rely on each other. And, why have to hire a whole team of a corporate office? We need to rely on our network of friends and our network of girlfriends, because we are so much powerful together. Together, we are an army. We just have to lean on each other. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Sybil, you also got to be not afraid of one of my favorite sayings is brave, not perfect. Progress over perfection. And so you got to let go of this idea. Girls are taught to be perfect. I don't know why that is. We teach girls to be to keep your legs closed and to say please and thank you, which are all very important things. But as we get older, we stop learning and growing and taking risks because we're so afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 months, we've had lots of missteps. We've made some mistakes. Iesha, so many. We should go back through them. We've made some mistakes. We've made some missteps. We've had some ideas that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
I think people are like leading lives based upon fear and this idea that they're going to fail versus this idea of how do I just move the needle further? How do I move it just a little bit further?
And that failure is part of it.
That's right.
We say that all the time. We say, in fact, to Yetta, who is, one of our, I tell her, like, progress over perfection.
Yes.
So we will, so sometimes it's like, this is really silly, but there's this book, Brave, Not Perfect, that I've been reading. And she says, try sending out an email with a typo in it and not apologizing for it.
Yes. Yeah. And it seems so small, but it's small. Big deal.
Like do
it is
intentionally and not, and like, don't apologize for the typo. Like, don't
I'm human. It happens.
Like I'm human. It happens.
Yeah.
So it's small things. Small things is that. Post a picture on social media and get your word out. And the language is not quite right. The language doesn't resonate with your listener. That whatever that is. So you can edit it. You can edit it. You can pull it down. You can pull up, as what Iesha is talking about is, so Iesha's been, I think this is such a great story. Iesha has been a director of major global brands.
Yes.
International global, but she normally has people at her beck and call where she picks up a call or sends an email. And Samantha that works in graphic artists is like, she's like, I need a graphic Samantha. And I would like graphics to look like this and have these. Well, we don't have a Samantha. There is no Samantha.
I'm the Samantha.
Global Gift Registry. So Iesha was like, for weeks, she says to Yetta, I don't know how to I'm not a graphic artist. I don't know how to do this. I cannot, and so then finally she downloads the program. She sends her kid to the dad's house. She takes her laptop to a restaurant in New Jersey and stays up late at night. The next thing we know, she sends us this like beautiful graphic that looks like she had hired Samantha.
Samantha.
Did you hire Samantha? Did Samantha get hired? Because I didn't know Samantha was getting. She was like, no, I figured out how to do it and I did it.
Yeah.
And it was such a moment of like, I was like, you have to tell your son this story.
Yeah.
Because as we get older as adults, we stop learning new things. So to the person who's out there who has this great idea, who's like, I don't know how to build a website. I don't know communications. I don't actually know. I don't know people how to raise money. Like, figure it out. Figure it out step by step and ask your friends. And like, she called Yetta, who, we all know Yetta would be like, press this button and do this button. All I know is that Iesha is now Samantha. And Samantha is Iesha.
You know what? Samantha has trained you, Iesha. Those years
trained me.
Trained you.
Oh my God, yes. But that taught me so.
For Samantha.
Jackie, thank you so much for telling that story because it's so important for the listeners too. Because like, if I got encouraged by Jackie and Yetta, because they, they were like, we're learning something new. We're doing something new. Like, I'm not used to this, but I don't know PowerPoint. And they were doing it. And I'm like, look, I want to learn something new. I need to change my attitude and I need to just dig in. And I think oftentimes, again, we are afraid to fail, or we think that if it's something that we don't know, but failure is part of the journey. Like, mistakes are part of the journey. Failure is part of the journey. At first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again. Like, we get away from that as professionals and as we get higher in the ranks of what corporate America, what society teaches us to be. But it is okay to fail. You are supposed to fail. That is the way that you learn, and it makes you tougher, and it makes you, go out and do something differently. This is so many jewels that, are within this journey of us, taking on this project and really rallying behind Jackie and really making sure that we, are doing things to make a difference in the world, from $1 to $300. But I think overall, we are, so thankful, Sybil, that you have provided this platform for girlfriends to tell their stories and, for us to chit chat and talk about the things that we're working on. And we just encourage everyone to log on to globalgiftregistry.org and, try to purchase a gift. And we'll keep everyone posted on where we're going next.
Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at _Great GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.